Have you ever noticed something strange? The people who look rich are usually the ones drowning in debt, and the people who look simple, quiet, and boring often end up owning half the city. Mike Tyson made over $400 million in his career and still went bankrupt. Meanwhile, Warren Buffett lived in the same modest house for decades and became one of the richest men alive. So what's the real difference? Because it's clearly not intelligence, not talent, and definitely not luck. It's the game they were playing. Most people spend their whole lives working for money, but the rich, money works for them. And this difference begins early with what Robert Kiyosaki calls the rat race. That loop where you earn money to pay bills, then earn more money to pay more bills, and the cycle never ends. We're trained for it from childhood. Go to school, get good grades, find a job, climb the ladder, hope for promotion, repeat until retirement, if you ever reach it. But in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Kiyosaki reveals something most people never learn: the poor and middle class trade time for money, while the rich learn to use money as a tool. It's a mindset shift. One question says, how much will they pay me? The other asks, how can I make money work for me, even when I'm not working? And that single shift is what separates people who stay stuck in the rat race from the people who escape it. Let's bring this down to real life. Think about Steve Jobs. He co-founded Apple, one of the biggest companies in the world, and still got fired from his own company. Most people would have crumbled under that kind of loss. But Jobs didn't fold, because his security wasn't tied to a salary. It was inside him, in his skills, his vision, and his experience. So instead of disappearing, he built NXT. He transformed Pixar into a global storytelling powerhouse. And eventually, Apple brought him back, because they needed the mind they once pushed away. That's exactly what Rich Dad meant by real security. A job can vanish, an industry can collapse, currency can lose its value. But skills stay with you. Skills follow you everywhere. Skills pay you forever. And this is the foundation of escaping the rat race, becoming someone whose value doesn't depend on one employer. Before we move forward, if you love stories that make money and psychology easy to understand, go ahead and tap subscribe so you don't miss the next breakdown. Now, let's talk about one of the most famous lessons in the book: assets and liabilities. Back to Mike Tyson. At his peak, he made more money in a year than most people will ever see in their lifetime. But almost everything he bought drained him. A $2 million bathtub, exotic tigers, multiple mansions, expensive cars, a massive entourage. It looked like wealth, but it was actually a slow bleed, because all those things were liabilities. They took money out of his pocket. Now compare that to Jay-Z. Before the luxury, he quietly bought assets: record labels, clothing brands, streaming platforms, alcohol companies, real estate. 2 men, 2 incomes, 2 completely different outcomes. Rich Dad's rule is simple. Assets put money into your pocket. Liabilities take money out of your pocket. Tyson stayed in the rat race. Big income, bigger expenses. Jay-Z escaped it by owning things that paid him back. It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you own that pays you while you do nothing. And that brings us to someone who mastered the idea better than almost anyone alive: Warren Buffett. Buffett doesn't run around chasing 10 different hustles. He's not grinding 3 jobs. He's not relying on overtime. He focuses on one quiet superpower: compounding, the art of letting money grow through ownership and time. Buffett buys parts of companies and then lets those companies work for him, day and night, whether he shows up or not. He once said, "If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die." That is the pure definition of the rat race: working forever, because your money never learned how to work for you. Understanding this is powerful, because once you see the difference between working for money and letting money work for you, you can't unsee it. And that's how you begin to break the cycle. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but through consistent decisions that your future self will thank you for. But even with all this progress, there's one mistake that drags most people right back into the rat race, even when they're trying to escape it. Here it is. A lot of people try to look rich before they ever become rich. They copy the lifestyle of wealthy people instead of copying the discipline that made them wealthy. They upgrade the car. Before upgrading their skills, they move into luxury. Before building a second income, they chase the flex. Before building the foundation. And that's why so many lottery winners, celebrities, and ex-athletes go broke after making millions. They had money, but never had financial intelligence. Looking rich is about spending. Being rich is about building. And those are 2 completely different games. So how do you actually make the rich dad mindset stick? Start by using your job as a weapon. Don't just work to earn. Work to learn. Ask yourself, what skill am I developing here that can make me money outside here? Next, start one small asset. Just one. It doesn't have to be big. A skill you monetize. A small online offer. a tiny weekly investment, a digital product that sells even while you sleep. The amount doesn't matter, the habit does. And finally, so upgrade your mind before your lifestyle. Whenever extra money enters your hand, ask yourself, am I buying freedom or am I buying flex? Every smart decision is one step out of the rat race. In the end, rich dad, poor dad isn't about two fathers. It's about two versions of you. One version keeps working for money, stressed, tired, and trapped in the rat race. The other version uses that same job as a launchpad, building assets, buying freedom, and shifting from working for money to letting money work for you. The people we admire, Steve Jobs, Jay-Z, Warren Buffett, didn't escape the system because they were lucky. They escaped because they learned the rules and changed how they played the game. Now, it's your turn. If you want more simple, powerful breakdowns of books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Psychology of Money, 48 Laws of Power, Atomic Habits, and more, subscribe. Not just to support the channel, but to support the version of you that's trying to rise. Because the only thing stronger than motivation is knowledge that compounds. See you in the next episode.